Hi, everyone. My name is Bill Greeter, and I wanted to present to you some ideas. Um, I call it breaking down the ORNL last planner system, or in other words, lean construction. So what is the last planner system? This is a process to do, doing, and done, as you can see. But it's a system that engages the people ultimately responsible for getting the work done in the planning and efficient execution of a project. So it's based getting people that are involved much earlier on in the conversations that happen. It's a system designed to produce predictable workflows with rapid learning for continuous improvement through increased team accountability and commitment. And the big one is it's 5 connected conversations. And we're going to talk about what those 5 connected conversations are shortly. So here they are. One, master schedule. This is what we're used to. When the bid goes in, the master schedule is put together. Often has to be done very quickly, and it's a best guess at what the project's going to look like. Two, the second conversation is phase scheduling, which we're going to spend a little bit more time on today. Another word for phase scheduling is pull planning. And then conversation 3 is look ahead planning. Conversation 4 is commitment planning, and then 5 is learning. So conversation 1, master scheduling again. This is Hooker. This is what we're used to in terms of milestones, in terms of dates and target dates. This is the process of building the schedule from start to finish. And it's done by the estimator, by the owner, construction manager, the architect, the scheduler. And generally it has to be done in very quickly. This is where milestones are established and phase durations are established. And again, this is the start, the first conversation, because the milestones that are identified in the master schedule are the ones that we're going to use for the next phase, which is phase scheduling. And this is something that you may or may not have done before, but it uses a technique called pull planning. The team works backward from a clearly defined milestone. So the milestone we're looking at here is that is in Hooker Gaylord. We're looking at 12 weeks of work, and that milestone would be that handover. Here's the keys. Um, we want to focus. The phase scheduling focuses on smooth handoffs. It creates a strong sense of ownership in the plan, where it's our plan, and we're gonna, it includes the people that actually do the work, which is, and I think in this case we're selecting the best of the best in terms of ORNL subs. But it creates a strong sense of ownership in the plan. Typically, it's 6 to 12 weeks ahead. And again, it's the people that do the work. Generally, it's done in a big room with sticky notes on the wall, like you can see. And we've been working to try to get it to do the same thing without having everybody together. You can do it from the comfort of your car, truck, or your office. And there's a video that we will share with you that kind of goes through it. So largely, this is what the poll planning session would look like. There's a map of the area, there's a bunch of sticky notes, and then there's this big long white sheet of paper, and it's done in a big room with everybody present, right? All the subs for that particular milestone would be included in this poll session. And each colored sticky note represents a different trade. Concrete's blue, obviously. You can see electrical is orange, plumbing is green, etc. And each sticky note, what goes on it is right from the master schedule, working backward from the delivery date is going to be the task and then the handoff. Like, what do you need to do? What do you need done before you can start your work? And then your duration, how long it's going to take you to do that particular task. So there is a bit of homework before the poll planning session happens. So each of the sticky notes, this is kind of the format that they're those are 3 pieces of information that you want to see on the sticky notes. And again, you start working backward from, in this case, structure completion. You can see it top right corner, and we work backwards from that. So time goes left to right, and we start with the milestone, which in our case will be the end of the 12 weeks that Hooker needs to be done. And then at the same time, you have a constraint log, which is in the big room too. And that's where people know, hey, I can't do this until this is done. this is going to get in my way. And we make sure we make a good list, a comprehensive list of those constraints, because they're going to be using those in the next connected conversation. And discuss handoff. The biggest thing about the pool planning session is the handoffs and what it will look like. What do we need done before we can start our work? And you can see as the board is getting built, time goes left to right. You can do it by month, by week. I think we're looking at doing it by week, because the project's only 12 weeks. In this case, this is a 1, 2, 3, 4-month project. Generally, when this is done for the first time in the big room, they could take a few hours to get the pool planning session done. A lot of times there's, big projects with, dozens and dozens of subs in the room. And the first time a little bit slower. And I anticipate, as we get better at it, it's going to be, it's going to go faster and faster. So there's an example of what would be, written down on the constraint log: metal decking thickness, can it be thinner? That's something that obviously the steel contractor brought up, and that we get put right on the constraint log. Again, this is like just an example of what it might look like going backward from the milestone. And then at the end of the session, you do your plus deltas on what went well in terms of the pool planning session, because, again, the idea is that ORNL and the best of the best in terms of subs are involved here in our first planning session, and we want to just try to continue to improve it. So we're looking at a tool called Miro. This is a video also, one thing I'm going to send separately. It kind of gives you how Miro works. It's basically it's a big whiteboard that's done in conjunction with Zoom. So you use Zoom and you log on to it. This is what the video looks like. It's really short, but it kind of gets into how to use Miro. So instead of going to a great room, one of the thoughts we had was being able to use a tool like this to do that whole planning session, from the comfort of your office, where no one has to be together, social distancing, that whole 9 yards. So that's a piece of it. And I'm going to not run the video. So again, here is this is Hooker phase 1. We're not sure when the start date is. We know it's going to be 12 weeks in duration, but this would be on the left. You'll see from phase 1, area protection and scale, all the way down to the handover, completion. And again, we're looking at 12 weeks, and this is what we would use to do the pool planning session. I've kind of set it up already in Mural. This is kind of what it looks like. We're not quite done with, all the subs, but this is the task list taken right from the master schedule on the right with the sticky notes, as you can see. And largely in Miro, we're gonna, this on the left, you see the grid that has each week. And largely the session would be where all of you would be able to walk in, grab your sticky note. So let's say you're electrical contractor, you can grab the pink one and you put it in the time, working backward from the handover date, the completion date. So that's the pool planning session that we're most interested in getting off the ground with you guys specifically, the handpicked group. But then, so the first conversation is master planning, 2 is the pool planning session, and 3, the look ahead planning. And this is taking that pool plan, because we take a picture of it when we're done with it, and that becomes kind of the more granular schedule. But the conversation 3, the look ahead planning, is it's a way to identify and clear constraints. We've identified the constraints, and it's continuing to look at handoffs. We want to make sure that the work is ready to start as planned, as you need, so it starts on time. It's a weekly meeting reviewing work 4 to 6 weeks out to remove obstacles. And again, it's the people that do the work. When we talk about the last planner system, that's what we're talking about. We're talking about you guys, and the superintendent and the project manager. So everyone consider upcoming work, spend time identifying constraints that could hold them up, record these, and assign people to eliminate them. And that's a weekly meeting, conversation 3. And then there's commitment planning, which is also known as weekly work planning. And this is where the on-site team meets once a week to discuss their work and make commitments over the coming week. And also a brief daily huddle to ensure everyone is tracking to the plan. Because don't forget, the new plan is what you guys come up with, with that poll planning session with the sticky notes. It's much more granular. It's much more discussed. It's much more thought out than the master plan, which is generally has to be thrown together pretty quickly. And conversation 5 is the learning, where we take weekly inventory of what went well, what didn't. The idea is to take lessons learned and immediately adjust the rest of the plan to accommodate those lessons. And this is where you guys have heard of the percent plan complete scores. Where basically it's like, are we getting better at predicting, in terms of our time, in terms of our commitments? And it's a good way to make adjustments and give feedback. This is all about, lean construction is about continuous improvement and eliminating all the waste that, all the work that you have to do that you don't get paid for, and making it as streamlined as possible. So the proposal, the reason we wanted to invite you guys was we want to try this on the next phase of Hooker. We're going to reach out to the best subs. And then Pat Perillo has a Friday 11 a.m. meeting with all the other, superintendents, our project managers, Cliff, and, we want to give an update each week on how we're doing with this. And we want to try to stay as close as we can to the last planner system. So thank you very much. I appreciate your attention. I hope this didn't take too long. Just a quick overview of how OR&L lean construction is going to shake out and how the last planner system works. Thank you very much.